So it's pretty clear that the Switch 2 is on the horizon, right? Nintendo announced this console is coming pretty soon, and with this, I've been thinking a lot about the shortcomings of the Switch and the way the Switch 2 could improve on it, right? Increased graphics, I mean, there's rumors that it's going to be PS4 or PS5 power. I don't know what to believe. Magnetic Joy-Cons, which will make it easier so people don't mess with their Joy-Cons, having to push the button, put it in the wrong way. You know how people are with the Switch. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is where this line of reasoning took me. I was thinking about things that the Switch has and that the Switch 2 could improve on, and I was also thinking about things that the Wii U straight up did better than the Switch. One of those things was the abysmal launch title, right, for the Switch. 1-2 Switch. It's like universally panned on as kind of cringe and bad, and like it's fun to bring out at a party or like a get-together of friends every once in a while, but it's not very good. But you know what was really good? Nintendo Land! And it's a game that never got ported to the original Switch. So my line of logic was, oh man, if the Switch 2 has some way to port this game over, whether they re-engineer it, whether they have some add-on for the console that lets you do dual screens, right, like the gamepad, that would be an awesome improvement to the Switch 2's library compared to the Switch 1, because it obviously is backwards compatible with all the Switch 1 games, and this would be a great thing that could be brought over from the Wii U. But then I started thinking about it more, and I realized that the Switch 2 is probably going to have some sort of launch title, and I realized that the 1-2 Switch model obviously is not successful. Look at everybody 1-2 Switch, right? Like, it was joked for a while that the Switch was a Zelda machine. It was definitely never joked that it was a 1-2 Switch machine because nobody actually wanted to play that game long term, right? All of this comes together to make me think, what if we got a new Nintendo Land? And then it hit me. What if we already have had leaks of there being a new Nintendo Land, but we just didn't know it yet because potentially only information about one of the minigames has leaked? This may seem far-fetched, but last year, there was a leak about a Pikmin game, a spin-off Pikmin game, releasing in the next fiscal year that would stand out from the series with a new type of gameplay, would be different from the numbered titles, which would feature classic gameplay, and also would change the artistic style. The leaker this came from is apparently reputable, though I don't really buy into leakers that much, but I gotta say, this is like the vaguest leak of all time. Like, if you were to say that this instills confidence in me that there is a Pikmin game coming in the next fiscal year, you would be wrong. It's not been that much time since Pikmin 4, which is still the flagship for the franchise currently, and, I mean, the last time Nintendo tried to do a Pikmin spin-off, it was Hey Pikmin, which the fan base is basically panned, and no one bought it, and it did poorly, and I like the game. That doesn't mean it's a good financial investment for Nintendo to make, especially when they're launching their new console. Like, really, can we expect a Pikmin game of all things to be close to a launch title for that console? The last time they tried that was Pikmin 3, and I love Pikmin, but the Wii U bombed. It didn't have a big title pulling people in. Pikmin 3 was not that. And at least Pikmin 3 was a highly anticipated entry in the mainline series. This would be a spin-off. It would be probably a pretty bad idea to have a major Pikmin spin-off be one of the launch games, at least financially. So I didn't really have that much stock in these leaks when they first came out, right? I made a video on it, which I'll put in the iCard up here if you really want to take a look at all the things it possibly could be, but really, at the end of the day, I didn't think it was going to happen. But there's a few weird things still going on with the Pikmin franchise. For example, the Pikmin Garden website, which is the Japanese official Pikmin website, still keeps getting updates. Like, why? Pikmin 4's been around for a while. I know it's doing a little better because of the holidays, this past holiday, word of mouth, I get it, but like, Pikmin 4 is not getting any new content. It seems pretty clear. I would love to be wrong on that point. Like, I'd be so happy if I was wrong, but I don't see a reason to keep updating the website for die-hard fans. And the reason I said the website's being updated specifically for die-hard fans is we're getting things like reclassifying the final boss of the first game from an Emperor Bulblex to a Sovereign Bulblex. And I'll be completely honest, the casual Pikmin fan does not care. Honestly, the person who's going to potentially pick up Pikmin 4 or not, who's never touched the Pikmin game, is not going to care about that sort of thing being on the Japanese website, right? But these updates keep happening, and they seem to be tailored towards existing Pikmin fans. Things like confirming the Umibozu theory, a very long-standing Pikmin theory, which if you want to see more about that, you can check that out in the iCard up here. Or things like, I don't know, adding more entries around the specific flora and fauna of the Pikmin series and the way the ecology of the series works. Like, it's really fascinating and really neat stuff, but like, it's not gonna help sell Pikmin 4. So what is the point of this? Is it for consistent engagement among people who already like the games? But why? Like, Pikmin games take forever to make anyway. The last 2 games took like 10 years, so even if they make this one quicker, 7 years, 5 years, that's still a long way off from the release of Pikmin 4 in 2023, so what gives? So I've been sitting on that on top of the weird Pikmin leaks, and I've just been, like, curious, what is going on here? Maybe the garden's a fluke and it's just content they've had planned for a while and they're slowly rolling it out and it's taking longer than anyone would expect, but, you know, they'll release it all eventually. And maybe these leaks are fake, but what if we got a Nintendo Land sequel on the Switch 2? It would align with the leaks, because in terms of Pikmin stuff, numbered titles would continue to feature classic gameplay. This would be a spin-off from Pikmin, for sure. It would be a new type of gameplay, especially if it's completely re-engineered from the ground up and it's not just a copy-paste of the prior Pikmin Adventure minigame, but something new. It would change the artistic style, especially if that was the Nintendo Land style, right? If it was all blocky and toy-like the original Nintendo Land, that would absolutely fill that criteria. It launching in the next fiscal year makes sense if it's part of a larger collection. It being a spin-off at all makes more sense if it's part of a larger collection, right? Like, maybe only one piece of Nintendo Land 2 leaked, and it's this Pikmin leak. And I know I would go crazy for Nintendo Land 2. Honestly, my biggest want for the Switch that we never got was a port of Nintendo Land 1. But I understand that mechanically that would have been hard to do given the asymmetric 5-player multiplayer, right? Like, would you need 2 Switches for it? It's just a really hard game to port. But a re-engineered sequel that relies on the hardware gimmicks of the Switch 2 rather than the Wii U, that is of the spirit and style of the original, could be amazing. One of the problems Nintendo Land has is that despite it being an awesome multiplayer experience, it's stuck on the Wii U. A new console coming out with a new Nintendo Land could just be amazing. So this is my tinfoil hat video talking about that. I would absolutely adore a Nintendo Land 2. And I think it's totally possible given a lot of things that are happening, right? If the Pikmin Garden is being updated, maybe it's to keep repeat interest in Pikmin, knowing that there is this Pikmin release of some sort coming up soon, right? Of course, maybe if there's an actual spin-off coming up with the launch of the new console, then maybe that's what that's about, right? But I don't know, this feels like a great way to get a bunch of their big IPs in one place at the start of the new console's life cycle. That could be amazing, and I could see it being shown off, like, as soon as the Switch itself gets its successor shown off. Like, it could be in the same presentation, and it would make sense for the timing of it coming out in the next fiscal year. Honestly, like, there's so much that just tracks if this is true. Which it's not necessarily true, I'm just randomly speculating here. But I think it would be a really smart move for Nintendo to do, because think about it, a Nintendo Land 2 could include Splatoon, which didn't even exist during the original Nintendo Land. It could include Pikmin, which is a Rising Star franchise. Animal Crossing can once again get signal boosted, because it's Animal Crossing, it's awesome. Zelda, Metroid, Mario, all of this stuff can make it in here, and it would just be neat. It would be neat to have fun little spin-offs of a bunch of the popular Nintendo franchises of today, just like what happened with the original Nintendo Land. So, I don't know for sure if this is a thing that's gonna happen. I feel way more confident about it, though, just from my intuition and a lot of these weird threads that are here, than I do about other things, like potentially, I don't know, an actual Pikmin spin-off happening. And this may be me just, you know, not having much faith in the Pikmin series getting games at a reasonable pace, just because it took literally 10 years for the last 2 mainline entries to release each, from 2 to 3 and 3 to 4. So, you know, Pikmin happening with any speed, yeah, I just don't believe it. But I could see something like this genuinely happening, because it would be part of a larger initiative to have a great launch title for the console. Again, the Switch 2 probably shouldn't have a game like 1-2 Switch. If the main gimmick of the console is the power of the console as a handheld console, I think it makes a lot of sense to have a game that shows that. So imagine a Nintendo Land 2 with beautiful, beautiful lighting, and that could absolutely be the changed artistic style from the leaks. Like, there's so many things that could happen with a Nintendo Land 2, and I think it could be that perfect sort of fun that would be a great starting point for the Switch 2. That being said, what do you think? Do you think these leaks could totally be a Nintendo Land 2 minigame that's leaked? Do you think it's something else entirely? Do you think that Nintendo Land's a franchise that, well, Nintendo's never going back to because the Wii U bombed and Nintendo Land's attached to it? Do you think something else entirely about this? Do you think that Nintendo Land 2 could be happening but Pikmin has no part in it? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That being said, I'll stop rambling and end things here. My name is Vantage Emblem. Thank you so much for listening to this video. I'm really fascinated with what the Switch 2 could do for, the Pikmin community if we get new games, and also just Nintendo games in general. I'm really curious what this new console is going to be like, and I want to hear your thoughts. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and take care. Bye!